2011, I was cycling home from work, and a multi-ton freight truck blew a stop sign and ran me over with front and back sets of tires. So I was ripped apart from just below my sternum down past my knees. And I thankfully did not lose consciousness because I had been a medic years prior, so I knew that I needed to keep myself awake, because if I would have gone unconscious, my chances of survival went down the tubes pretty quickly. Wow. So I screamed and yelled. We were trying to have our firstborn. So we're high school sweethearts. So we had only been married for a year.
Huh.
So
just over a year.
I was definitely not going to let myself go unconscious and die. And so I just screamed and yelled on the ground, on the pavement, God, please don't let me die. I'm trying to be a mom. You know, I just met my soulmate and keep me alive. And thankfully, the EMTs were there in a pretty short amount of time.
Yeah.
I was backboarded and hauled off. I didn't lose consciousness until I flatlined at the hospital. One of the EMTs that was in the ambulance placed her hand on my heart and just prayed out loud that God would let me live.
Wow.
And so I remember that from the very beginning, that psychological first aid, you know, that hand on the heart and that touching. And I flatlined within about 60 seconds of getting to Yale because my femoral artery had been severed. And I was just degloved. So 50% of my skin was just shredded off my body. So they started CPR. I was out for over 20 minutes the first time, just having CPR resuscitations. And they were giving me a ton of blood. I had over 78 units just within that first chunk, because as quickly as they get platelets, plasma, and whole blood into me, I was just bleeding out.
Yeah.
So I had multiple cardiac arrests after that. Once they finally got me somewhat stabilized, I was still critical for 72 hours, but then I was moved into ICU and stayed in a coma for 5.5 weeks.
Wow.
During that time, my dear husband, who's I think tending to the dogs right now, but he stayed by my side the whole time and would come in and hold my hand and pray with me every day. And from there, I went to a rehab facility, and I was at a rehab facility for a couple of months where I needed to learn to start walking again and talking again and eating again, and because I had machines doing everything for me for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm now 32
insane.
surgeries out. I just had another surgery in November.
Wow.
So it's been sort of, I'll get really strong, and I typically, what I've been doing is training. So I train for races, even though I can no longer place. I can at least get strong enough that either I'm in a wheelchair or a walker or I'm on 2 feet, but I can get a medal and give a medal to a hero and say thank you.
Wow.
And so...
well, just on a side note, we've placed on relay teams.
We did, actually.
Wow.
We were...
Quasi.
We did. Yeah, that is true. Which is
a tough course.
I swam.
Heck
He biked
yeah.
ran. But we did.
Yeah, she's a good swimmer.
Yeah. Not
That's
so much
incredible.
Now after surgery, because I haven't been able to get in the water as much, but yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So we did.
Yeah. I mean, this journey must have been crazy for you as well. Sean, is that right?
Yep.
Sean, I mean, this journey for you, what was it like seeing your new wife, you know, in the hospital in such a awful state?
Well, it sucked.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Not knowing what the outcome was going to be, because I wasn't able to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
That was terrible. Yeah, it was just. I mean, the only thing I could do is really keep myself in a positive frame of mind.
Right. Right.
That's it. Because the doctors weren't really telling me 100% of what was going on, because first 48 hours she was critical, and then for the whole month while she was in an induced coma. They didn't know how she was going to turn out.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't know if she was going to be, if she needed a vent tube placed in or, you know, what. So, information was a little bit on the minimal side.
If I walk or talk or...
Yeah, that's insane.
Nobody knew any of that stuff.
No, nobody knew the prognosis.
So it was a choice for you to just be like, I'm just gonna choose to be positive despite not knowing like what's gonna happen, even though it's hard.
Well, whether she would have been where she is now or someplace a lot worse, I'm still here for her, you know?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm more than certain she would do the same for me, and that's pretty much all I told myself. You know, every day, what would she do if I were in her shoes, you know?
Yeah. That's powerful.
And that's just huge.
That's commitment right there. It's beautiful.
But yeah.
What kind of insights or wisdom has it given you?
Yeah, I think we both have become stronger mentally. And weaker mentally. I mean, a little bit of both.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear some people, they say, you know, well, do you have this different appreciation for life? And do you feel now that you don't take things for granted? And honestly, I don't feel like that changed much because that was part of who we were before.
Yeah, we never
Gotcha.
things for granted.
Gotcha.
And I guess because I had also had brain surgery prior to this. I had been diagnosed with lupus prior to this.
Oof, yeah.
So it was just kind of, I think it was this time instead of a wave, it was like a tsunami.
Right. Right.
And I felt, I think we both we already realized the intent. And my husband was in a horrible trauma where he was impaled before we were reconnected. We were high school sweethearts and estranged for 17 years and then reconnected. So he was snowboarding when we were still
I don't like to
apart.
talk about it that much because I don't want to steal our thunder.
Wow. You can't just casually say impaled. What? That's insane.
You know, not a lot of people can say that.
No.
Cool.
Except for the little snowman on the Frozen.
Oh my
We didn't like
gosh.
that movie at all, except for that one part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're not into musicals.
That's funny.
It was a musical when it was terrifying. But yeah, I was
Yep.
snowboarding and I was going through the trees, like a tree run, which was my backyard. But the snow was fickle. It was like it was a spring day, so up top was nice and cool. But as you went down the mountain, it got warmer. So the top part of the snow was nice and fluffy, you know, powdery. But as you would descend, it would get thick and cementy. So unfortunately, my snowboard got caught underneath the snow, and then it hit a branch underneath the snow, the front tip of it, and it caused me to catapult somersault until I landed on a tree, and I ended up impaling myself. So I pulled the stick out, and then I had to crawl my way out of the trees and find the ski run. And then some people came up to me and said, "Whoa, dude, are you all right?" And you know, some snowboarders. I'm a snowboarder, but the younger ones, they talk like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm guessing that's how I talked when I was a little kid. But
You were a little kid.
well, no, back in the day, like certain.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, man, I need some help. So they called ski patrol, and they whisked me down, and
Yeah.
I required 6 units of blood
Wow.
and a colostomy bag. So we have that in common.
That's insane.
So our colostomy scars now, because I had mine for about a year and he had his for just a couple months, but if you were to stick our bellies together, well, make me higher because he's taller than me, my ostomy scar goes like this and his goes like this. So we make a plus.
Gosh, you guys are insane.
What would you say is like something that you like to share with people as you're sharing all these things that are just unique to you guys?
I feel like what we...
Go ahead, start.
So, I mean, we speak now. That's our work. We're motivational speakers. And what we try to tell every person that we ever come across is that we're a human family, really. And the thing that we've learned more than anything, I had over 78 units of blood. we had, thank God, not near that many, but a lot. We've both just been through so many traumas, but also we've both been saved. And although we lost our ability to have our own baby, and our lives have been shifted radically as a traditional married couple, we've seen how much more profound love is over anger. And it's not to say that things don't suck sometimes, and there isn't chronic pain, and there aren't a lot of setbacks. And I have a brain injury, I have like a limp, I have a lot of pain, I have all that stuff.
Crap happens.
But everyone's got stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone's always gonna have stuff.
Yeah.
So,
And I feel like the way that I've kind of put that into my own journey is not being a victim, because I'm not like, it's kind of ridiculous to even try to compare stories with other people who've gone through stuff, because it's like we've all gone through a lot, and how do you weigh it? But what I think is that a lot of people, and I can tell this with you guys, is that you're choosing not to be a victim.
Yeah. Well, also what helped with that is we have each other.
Yeah.
If we didn't have each other, I'm not saying that we would go to the alternative route, but it makes it a lot easier that we have each other when crap happened.
and pivotal.
Yeah.
And I often think sometimes, when we meet people, when we speak that are single or they lost a spouse or, there's a myriad of reasons that someone's alone and they're going through trauma. Wow, it's tough. And maybe they don't have a community and they don't have family close by and they just feel really alone.
And I don't even claim to know how to encourage people that go through that kind of thing. I just have to believe that no matter what struggle you go through, you can find some sort of purpose. Just knowing how suffering has worked in my own journey, I have to believe that not being a victim of it and not giving into it is kind of the key.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Any final thoughts you want to share with people?
Yeah, just
I appreciate you doing the work you're doing.
just
For
take
sure.
care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of your loved one.
Wow.
Yeah, self-care. But David, I just need, again, you're still so fresh out of your trauma, and I am so impressed by how motivated you've been to just make something positive of this. And I feel kind of big sisterly of you.
Yeah.
I remember when this happened, Stephanie reached out and told me about it, and I remember emailing you and praying for you, and I remember crying with Sean, because I was so angry that this happened for you, and I look into your eyes and I'm just so encouraged. So
Thank you so much.
You're an answer to prayer. I'm grateful for how well you're doing and that you're being a change maker. And I'm sorry we couldn't make it out for the bike ride because we really wanted to. But I was on book tour last year and it was just crazy.
I'm sure that's insane. Well, we're going to try to make that ride happen again maybe next year. So we'll reconnect for sure. And thank you for the kind words. I have a song called Love Is What Keeps Us Alive. And that's kind of, I had my family in that time. I had my parents, they moved to Atlanta with me. And having that support, knowing that I still had my people, and no matter what I looked like, whatever pain I was going through, I was going to have my people. That was huge. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely, man, you guys are getting me pumped up just talking about it. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And thanks, just for everything. And I can't wait to connect again soon in Connecticut.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Peace.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.